Good morning, good morning, good morning, Predicted Trades family. Hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully everybody can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. So, we find ourselves coming into this week after a strong bounce back up. As you can see over here on the daily on ES, we got down to the bottom of that Ichimoku daily cloud, got a good bounce to the top. We keep holding the bottom, and now we're back up to test the daily 50 and to try to get through the top of that Ichimoku cloud. If we look over to the right, we can see that we've had that good drive back up above the daily 15, daily 8, daily 21, and now we're up to the daily 50. As far as a recovery, after this sell-off, we lost the daily 50. We spent some time down here. Now we're back to the daily 50. So this week could spell a pivotal point in the overall market. Do we get back above the daily 50? Do we get back above this daily Ichimoku and start to go near these recent highs and all-time high? Or do we reject the daily 50, reject the Ichimoku, and come back down for some more consolidation and retesting before they take off higher? We do have a daily squeeze that's starting to form a little bit below 5,000. We can see that if we kind of scrunch our chart. The daily squeeze is down here near 49.70, 49.82. We have a 4-hour squeeze around 5,012-ish. Sorry, it's a 4-hour squeeze, yep. So if we do start to lose some of these daily moving averages and liquidity levels, then it could be a retracement back down to that 4-hour squeeze before heading higher. The top of that 4-hour and the daily is way up near the third Keltner, near 53.50. So right back up near all-time high. So if we can't, basically it's can we hold this trajectory and just push right up to take out these highs, or do we get some rejections? I'd keep an eye out near 5,200. That is the first Keltner to the upside. If we reject 5,200, it could spell some of that retracement just to make sure buyers are present for that drive up. If we do lose these daily moving averages, then I'm going to be targeting the first Keltner down, 50.65, and then down to last week's lows, the previous week's lows around 50.20, and those squeeze bottoms. Moving on, let's look at NQ. On NQ, we did slip a little bit below the daily squeeze bottom, but then we bounce right back up. We are back up above those daily moving averages and trying to get up to test that daily 50, which sits up near 18,090. If we can start to clear that, then I'll be targeting these Keltners to the upside near 18,166, 18,470, and 18,788, which would be new all-time highs, right? Same scenario on NQ. We had that sell-off. We came down to some key levels that I've been covering for weeks where we got a good bounce, and we're back up to test the trend line from the highs and the daily 50. So we reject the trend line from the highs, daily 50. We're going to come back for some retracement and to continue this uptrend, set a higher low yet again. Or if we start to push through these trend lines and this daily Ichimoku top, just want to see that hold, and then it's a push to all-time high. Moving on to ready. Ready? Very Very similar. Came down to some key levels, even reached down with this wick and tapped the daily 200 right near a key level, that 1941. And here we are pushing right back up. If small caps remain strong, we have to keep an eye that the market could continue to follow. It's already claimed above its daily 50. That's this purple line that it's pushing off of pre-market to get back up to this 2070. If we can start to clear that, we do have that, what is that, daily squeeze? Yep, daily squeeze up near 2100, where that second Keltner sits at 2107. And then past that would be the all-time high of 2167, which, okay, yeah, that's the daily. Is that the 2-day is up there near 2167, near all-time high. So can we continue this rally, get through this daily squeeze, which is starting to form near 2100 to get to all-time high, or do we hit the top of this Ichimoku and come back for consolidation? I'm kind of leaning towards the latter there. If we zoom in though on the day, it held its open range buy zone, took off through open range sell, and we're getting up to that midline. You can see these amazing interactions every time with our beast tool. Moving on to YM. YM got down, set some lows near this trend line around that 3750, or 37,500, we'll call it. Now we have our daily squeeze down there. We're pushing back up into the Ichimoku. YM a bit of the weaker ones, frankly, out of the indices. It is getting up to test its daily 50 here. So we'll see how this test at 39,000 goes. If we can break through and hold, then it's a push up to that first Keltner, 39,080, and then up to this daily squeeze top around 39,250 to 500, we'll call it. And we do have some Keltner targets to the upside, but YM is a little weaker. Let's see if it's going to just follow tech, which has definitely been leading. Looking at the overnight, looks like we held our open range buy zone. We're getting up to that open range sell zone. So let's see if we run into resistance, or if we're just going to have a little bit of a gap and go. We are already above Friday's highs. So let's see if it can at least hold its open near that 38,920 and continue that journey higher to help the market to the upside. Darn it. Wrong button. Next, let's go to Apple. Hopefully there we go. Didn't bog me down too much. And today I'm just going to hit the 7 big tech names during prep. And this might just take a second to load since I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing a second ago. While we're waiting, we can see that VIX had a little bit of a gap up near 14. It's on a nice downtrend pre-market as we're pushing. Keep an eye on this open range buy zone around 13.7. See if it catches a bounce to go back up, or if it's going to continue down to fill that gap down near that midline and Friday's lows around 13.5. Apple after earnings, big old push up, trying to hold some key levels, gapping below them. But as long as we can hold above 181, 179, we could see some good continuation post-earnings on Apple. To the upside, it is above a daily squeeze. As long as we stay up here, that'll fire to the upside. If we start to lose that 179.5, then it could be a swift drop back down to fill this earnings gap. But as we've seen with positive tech gap ups lately, they tend to hold up at key levels and just keep going. So keep that 179.5 to 181 as your support for continuation on Apple. And we'll go to, I'll hit AMD before I move on with the big 7. just so we can get the climate on chips. AMD, not the best reaction after earnings, but already coming back. Want to keep an eye out for if we hit that earnings gap fill and start to retrace back down. We did get pretty close to that 140 key level. Keep an eye out for support around 150 and 152 where the daily 8 sits on dips. If we start to lose that, then it's a retrace back down to that 140. If we can hold up 150, 152, then it's a retrace back up to the daily 21 near 158, the pre-earnings high of 162, and the daily 50 up near 175. We'll move on to what will be next, Meta. Meta had that negative reaction after earnings, but slowly starting to climb its way back. We have the daily 21 up near 470, so that's the first big key target. And the daily 50 up near 490, so if we continue the upside, that's the targets to the upside. If we start to lose that 148, let's call it 148, then it's a retracement back down to 140 and 132. Moving on to Microsoft. Microsoft had that strong reaction to earnings, came all the way back near the pre-earnings low and starting to bounce. Let's see if we can hold above the daily 21 near 406, the daily 15 near 404, and the daily 8 near 401.5-ish, we'll call it. As long as we can hold up here above that Wednesday high from last week near 401.5, then it's looking good to continue up to the daily 50 at 414, 415 psych level, and the first Keltner to the upside. If we can continue, we want to take out that earnings high, 424, on our way up to this daily squeeze top at 435. We hit the daily squeeze bottom once, twice, double bottom off of earnings after a strong reaction. Keep an eye out on Microsoft. Could make that move this week. Moving into an OPEX next week. Let's go on to NVIDIA. NVIDIA always the last to report for earnings, is still coming up. Came off of the daily squeeze bottom once and twice for a higher low down near that 780. He even came back to this 816, 805, caught a nice bounce, and we're right back up pushing through the highs from last week. So let's see if we can continue to hold above 880, kind of the bottom of the 1 hour squeeze. Be a good sign to get through 900 with the goal of getting up to 920, 935 at the top of the daily squeeze and that second Keltner to the upside. If we start to lose 880, you want to target back to these daily moving averages, 865, 860, 855 for the daily 21, 841 for the daily 15, which would still be a progressively higher lows even if it got down to that 840. So keep an eye out there. If we lose 840, then it's right back to that zone to test again. We'll take a look at Tesla, if I can get all the letters in there. Oh, come on. There we go. Tesla had its earnings, been on a good run, ran into the top of its daily squeeze, and now consolidating. Let's see if it can continue to hold up that 180. Last week's low around 175. If we start to lose that, it's back to the daily 21 at 170. And to fill this gap and go, which kind of bottoms out near 167.5. The lowest I'd want to see it get is about that 164, 165, the daily 15. If it were to lose all these squeezes and dip down, I want to find support there to take off. Otherwise, it's back down to test the bottom of this daily squeeze. If we can hold up, I want to see it get up to 190, push through last week's high near 198 to get up to 200, then it's up to 206 as target. That's pretty much it for prep. We'll take a quick look at SPY and QQQ. SPY, strong, pushing through last week, a couple of weeks highs. Got down, held that daily Ichimoku, but we're still in it. We still need to take out the daily 50, which is up near this 511, this daily 20, I'm sorry, we've already taken out the daily 50. So we need to try to hold above it, up near that 511. I think there's a discrepancy between my two charts, some different settings. If we can keep going, we want to target up to 516 and then 520, where that second Keltner sits to the upside. If we start to reject about 514 and roll back, want to see 511.5 hold where the daily 50 sits. If not, we're firing some squeezes to the downside, and it's likely back to the daily 21 around 407.5. QQQ. Also pushing above the daily 50. Let's see if it can continue to hold that daily 50 and Friday's high around that 436.5, let's call it. If it can hold and continue to push, targeting to 440, 442, 444, where the second Keltner, the upside, sits. If we start to reject and lose that daily 50, then first target would be down there 435, 434. We start to lose that. We're losing some squeezes to the downside and kind of those Friday lows, if you will, from the cash session. And it'll be back to the daily 21 for support, which is still progressively higher lows. So not too aggressive to the downside right now. We have some really good setups to the upside. Let's see if the buying momentum holds and if we can move, like we've seen on most names, out of this Ichimoku cloud and back up to all-time highs to continue. But that's it for prep. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and I'll be on the chats and voice today at different times, so we'll see you guys in there.